I lost a lot of money this past 2 weeks, and I'm going to walk you through it so you don't have to lose that money, right? So that you don't have to make the same mistake that I did, or same series of mistakes, because there's 5 of them here on this card. And as well, I just drank a blueberry smoothie, so there might be blue stuff in my teeth. My dearest apologies. So let's walk through it, right? First off, I build tables. My name is Wyatt Moss. I'm the owner of the woodworking company, owner and operator, and we are the premier woodworking supplier of the Southeast, even the country at that. Regardless, we are still learning, and I charged a lot less than I could have on an order of really nice tables, really big tables that were being delivered to an office space. Now, a couple things. One, if a contractor reaches out to you and asks you for a quote, and then you give it to them, and then they say yes immediately, you didn't ask for enough. So no next go around, I should probably ask for 20% more than what I asked for last time, right? That's what I did wrong, is that I gave a quote because I wanted to get the contract instead of getting the full value that I deserve, right? So you want to be in a situation where you don't need that contract. You know, the one who walks into the negotiation with the least necessities, or whatever the word is, I think it's that, wins the whatever it's called, negotiation. So then I walked in needing it in a way, and it was a subtle thing in my wordage, but I should have approached it differently, right? And then asked for more, and then he should have come back and said, that's too much, we need to come down on that price. That's when I would know, okay, you know, I can come down a little bit and keep going down maybe once or maybe twice and hit that number. But if I knew the full value up front, I should always quote a little bit more than that instead of underquoting like I usually do or have in the past, because you can lose out on a lot of money that way. So this first mistake cost me $5,000, and I should have opened with that, but like that's a lot of money. So I could have charged 33% more on the contract. I made a huge mistake when quoting it out. I quoted the small tables the same price as the big tables. Sorry, vice versa. The big tables the same price as the small ones, and the big ones were worth a lot more. And that was on me. So I will never make that mistake again, because $5,000 is a lot of money. That is like a very large portion of what I'm going to make this year. Anyways, I then thought that I had time to drive up to Nashville and build the tables that I was delivering up there, right? And I spent $117 getting a U-Haul, only to realize as soon as I got it that I had to fly out of Nashville to go to Austin to run the Austin Marathon, because I'm doing a 50 States Marathon Challenge right now. And when I had that realization, I had to catch that flight. I knew that I wouldn't be able to load up the U-Haul that morning and catch the flight. So I had to just hop in my car, and I realized that I was asking too much of myself to get the U-Haul at 9 p.m. the night before I was supposed to leave on this flight. And I don't know, it was just a problem on timing on my part, right? And so I lost myself $117 on a U-Haul that I drove to my house and back to the place, a couple miles at most, right? So that's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. It happened. I'm never going to allow that to happen again. I have to remember this mistake. The ones that sting are the ones that you remember. And so I got to let this price tag right here, the tally that we'll get to in a second, how much money I lost this past week, I got to let that sting so that I don't let it happen again. Next up, I drove up to Nashville to, after I went to Austin, flew back to Nashville, drove back in my car. So that whole drive was, not pointless, but I scheduled the flight up there because I thought I'd have the tables done, and it was asking a lot of the situation. I should have flown out of Atlanta. I should have built the tables here in the first place. There's a lot of mistakes I made, right? So I drove back, and you could even throw that in there, another $40 to $80 in 8 hours of time driving out there in my Honda. But on top of that, because I could have flown out of Atlanta. On top of that, what was I trying to say? Oh, I drove up there with the tables unfinished after the Austin Marathon because I wanted to deliver them, and I made a promise that I couldn't live up to. It was one of the other videos that I talked about already, but basically I told them that I could deliver the tables by Friday, and there was no way that was going to happen, right? And I had plenty of time, I was only at 4 weeks in this contract. I had plenty of time to say, hey, I can deliver them in 2 weeks, right? 6 weeks is the standard time. That's a mistake on my part. I should have learned. I should have not done that, but that ended up costing me a lot more than just the U-Haul fee. So I rented a Home Depot van to go up there. It was $170 plus $120 in gas to go up and then back, because I drove up to Nashville hoping to deliver these tables, but they weren't finished. And so then I don't know what I was thinking, like, he's not going to accept anything less than finished. It was stupid. So then not only was he mad at me, and not only did I waste $290 plus 8 hours of driving time, but I wasn't able to deliver the tables. So I basically wasted a day driving up there and driving back, and I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to finish projects and give myself ample time so I know I can deliver on time. I've talked about this in one of the other videos previously as well, but on top of, or maybe I didn't yet, on top of upsetting him on timing, ultimately when I delivered the tables at the end, he was not happy at the situation because it was a week and a half late and his reputation was on the line. And so then words were said, and odds are we will never work again together again. Who knows? He might decide that my prices are good enough that he'll try to come back. But as of right now, I've lost one of my biggest clients in the past couple of months to a mistake that I've made on timing. So this is more than just the money that I've lost on the driving, but as well the future business that I've lost. Okay, so on top of that, $200 for, I delivered one of the tables on the flight up to the Austin Marathon early because the guy needed it early, or was asking for it early, and then he had to sand out the gaps in the tables. Now, I had to deliver this table early. I didn't have to, but I decided I was going to because I wanted to have something for him, before driving up there with all the other tables. It was a stupid mistake on my part. I shouldn't have tried to rush the table process just to say yes to a request from him. I have the power to say no. I'm building his tables, right? So if he asks, hey, I need this weekend, and it's a Thursday afternoon, and I have to get up there Saturday morning, and it's not done yet, then I should say, no, that's not going to happen. I can't rush that. I'm not going to make it happen. Unless he's like a really close long-term client that's going to pay a lot of money, and I know he's good on his word, and I can trust him. But with this guy, I couldn't, right? And so I was naive in the moment. I said, yes, I'll do that, because I wanted to, I don't know why. I wanted to make sure that he was happy with working with me. It's a good thing to do, but not if it requires you to do subpar work, right? So anyways, I drive up there, deliver this table, but it wasn't fully finished. And so then when I delivered all the tables at the end of the contract, he took off $200 because he had to sand out the part of the table that was not finished. And he said, it took me 2 hours, and I don't work for anyone for free. So he charged $100 for 2 hours, $100 an hour for 2 hours of work. So then that was $200 down the drain. Next was, on my way back, I was picking up some wood from a sawmill because I wanted to take advantage of having the truck to deliver the tables, so that I could only drive up to Nashville and have the truck once. I was trying to make a smart move here, and it was smart, but I was still asking a little bit too much because I left here in Atlanta at like 1 p.m. and I got up to Nashville around like 5 or 6 to deliver the tables. And then after that, I wasn't able to go pick up this wood, but I still had to get back within 24 hours to return this Home Depot van before it charged me. So then I basically, in order to be able to pick up the wood during this trip, I called the guy and said, hey, if you can get it done faster, I'll pay you $100 extra because it'll save me the time of driving back up here and the hassle, right? I don't know why I said that, because ultimately, like when I called him that first time and when I lost this $100 that I'm about to talk about, it was the week before when I drove up because of the Austin Marathon. And so I was not only hoping to deliver unfinished tables, but also to pick up the wood that I was going to buy all in one trip. And I made a massive mistake here. Because then had to ask him if he could rush his work so I could pick up those slabs early. When I didn't end up picking them for another week and a half, right? Because I delivered the tables a week and a half later than the first time I drove up there. So terrible situation, because not only am I not living up to my promise that I've made when there is ample time. So, the mistake that I made was avoidable on my behalf. Very stupid mistake from my part. Not only that, I also asked someone to, rush work when I had a week and a half of time, because I should have thought about everything and looked at the whole timeline and seen that there's more time. I'm not going to make him rush. Whenever he gets this done, works for me. Because of that, I wasted $100. Now, on top of this, I should have just asked in the first place, hey, do you think you can have it done by tomorrow? And if he would have said, yeah, I can have it done by tomorrow, then we're good. If he said, no, I can't have it done by tomorrow, even if, let's say it's not the same situation, it's a different situation where I just want to pick it up tomorrow. So even if he doesn't, let's see here, what was I trying to say? Oh, if he says that he can't do it by tomorrow, that's when I should have offered, hey, I'll pay you $100 extra driving up that way, and it'll save me the time, 4 hours each way, plus the U-Haul and the gas, if I can just pick it up tomorrow, right? That's the situation. I should have waited to ask, not just offered it up front. So I lost $100 there. And then on top of that, $150, what was that for? Oh, so, I delivered the tables, and then because I couldn't pick up the wood the previous time, I had to pick it up when I delivered the tables. So then there's another $150 down the drain because I was asking too much of myself in that situation. I delivered the tables at night 2 nights ago. And then that following morning, I had to pick up the wood, but I was going to meet with someone for coffee, and I had to, long story short, I had to rent the Home Depot van for 2 days instead of 1, because I got back like a couple hours after that 24-hour rental. So they'll charge you another $140 if you, hold it for longer than 4 hours. So then I lost, because I was trying to get all this done in such a short time frame, I lost another $150 for that extra day of renting it. So altogether, we've got the $5,000 quoting mistake. Then we've got the $117 U-Haul mistake. We've got the $290 of driving up there unfinished mistake. We got the $200 of this was the kicker on that $200 from the charging $100 an hour for the sanding, the contractor that did that. I should have asked him to give me the check for the tables that I built before we took out the tables, right? So always get the check in hand before you take out deliver the product, because I have the leverage in that situation. When I drop the tables off in his house, then I don't have the leverage in that situation, right? It's a terrible thing to do on his behalf. It's very, very evil, but he can use that to, this is what he said. He was like, as of this point, you are trespassing my property. Leave or I will call the cops. And I was like, where's this coming from? This is out of nowhere. Because, it's expected that he would be upset because I was delivering the tables late. But to be at that level, I don't know, especially because I underquoted and all these different things. He was making money on this contract. It was a weird behavior, but I should have gotten the check before taking the tables out of the truck, because that's when I have the leverage. Always make sure that you are taking advantage of your leverage points, right? And when you have the upper ground, when you have the product in your truck for delivery, that's when you should be collecting the check, not after the service is done, because you're delivering it to them. They're not buying it from you. You see what I mean? Like, they are buying it from you, but it's from you. How about that? It's yours. They're taking it. So they should give you money beforehand. I've built these tables. I know they exist. I don't know if you have the money or not, because I could have unloaded all of them and he'd say, I'm not going to give you any money. And what do I do at that point? Get the check before you walk out. $200 lost there. $100 lost because I offered too early for no reason. Then $150 for taking an extra day on that Home Depot van, requiring too much myself. That was not really a lost money, but it is a situation I could have avoided by leaving earlier the day before, or just waiting to leave until 6 a.m. that morning so I could do everything in one day, right? Altogether, $5,857.69 is what I lost in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah, lots of fun. I did build all of these tables in 1 week, and then I sanded all of them in another week. So 2 weeks of work to make the money on this contract that I made. I did lose that $5,000 of potential value plus $800 of actual money. So, ultimately at the end of the day, like, how much money did I actually lose? Around $850. How much money did I lose in spirit that I will never forget these mistakes? Around $6,000, right? From that quote. Moving forward, now I have these mistakes in hand. These are the hard-won lessons, right? I've made these mistakes before, and I haven't been corrected. This is a sting to the heart, shot through the heart, that I will not forget these mistakes now, because there's a sting to it. There's a monetary value that has, caused me to understand that my actions actually have consequences. In the past, people have been more forgiving of me showing up late or of me trying to do several things all at once, and there hasn't been consequences. This is one of the first times where there are significant consequences. I lost a client. I lost $800 plus $5,000 of potential value, and I, tarnished my reputation a little bit, and I tarnished the client's reputation a little bit, which is even worse, because I can work to change my reputation, but he associated himself with me, and it changed his for the worse, because he trusted me to deliver them on time, and I gave myself. I made a massive mistake by not giving myself more time when it was available to me. So look, you might have to watch this video twice to kind of understand the whole situation of everything I just talked about, what mistakes I made and everything like that. But it is worth it, right? That lesson is worth $6,000 and potentially more. So go back and watch this video one more time, 1.5 speed, and really try to understand, like, what did he do wrong here? Renting the U-Haul or the Home Depot van and leaving at halfway through the day, that caused me to have to be able to sleep in that middle portion of the day, or that, of night, from, let's say, 10 p.m., 10:30 until 6 a.m. So then even if I left straight from there and made it home, it would be cutting it close to that 1 p.m. time, right? Instead, if I would have left at 6 a.m. that morning and then gotten back by around 10 p.m., then it wouldn't mess up my sleep schedule at all, and I'd be able to do everything in that time frame because I would have prepared for it. But in this situation, I didn't leave until 1 p.m. So then, I don't know, it's weird how it works out, but I'm asking too much in that situation. So yeah, there's that. All the other lessons as well. Hopefully it's valuable. And at the end of the day, evaluating these experiences for me is massive, because it allows me to remember these mistakes, to process them, to evaluate the experiences that I've been through, but to understand everything at a deeper level, so that I am truly myself. I know the mistakes that I've made. I understand my weaknesses. I understand my past, my experiences very well. They're close friends now. I know the mistakes that I've made, and I'm turning them from vices into close friends. So I think if you turn an enemy into a friend, then you know that how you can trust them, because you know how they could go wrong, right? So you know what to look out for, as well, what to change about them, the mistakes, so that they don't go sour on you again. I'm trying to connect the two, mistakes as friends. That whole metaphor I'll have to build out a little bit, but you get the point. Yeah, that's it. So why don't us?